to the Are You Annie podcast, dedicated to unraveling the complexities of living in a narcissistic relationship. I'm Kyle Hackley, attorney, mother, grandmother, and author of Undercurrent. Before we begin, I want to remind you that I'm not a healthcare professional. I'm someone who is absolutely passionate about shedding light on the issues surrounding narcissistic abuse with the goal of validating and inspiring all the Annies out there. If you're familiar with my podcast, and you know that I refer to Annie as a symbol representing women who have endured, are enduring, or have escaped from an emotionally abusive relationship. The name Annie is inspired by the protagonist of the novel Undercurrent. Annie Black is an equine surgeon who escapes the clutches of her narcissistic husband. Her journey exemplifies resilience and the transformative power of healing. By invoking Annie, I hope to validate all the women who see themselves in any part of her story and to foster a community of support and empowerment. In this episode of Are You Annie, we delve into the manipulative tactics narcissists employ to maintain control, particularly their propensity to shift blame onto their partners. We'll explore how, regardless of the situation, a narcissist will twist events to make their partner feel at fault. Drawing from Annie Black's experience with her husband Santino, I'll illustrate how these dynamics manifest and the profound impact that they have on one's sense of self. We are focusing on the narcissist's tendency to make you the problem, no matter what the circumstances are. Narcissists possess an uncanny ability to deflect responsibility from their actions, to consistently project blame onto their partners. This tactic, known as blame shifting, serves many purposes for the narcissist. It preserves their inflated self-image. It certainly avoids accountability, and it keeps their partner in a perpetual state of self-doubt. By making their partner feel responsible for every issue, narcissists erode their partner's self-esteem and sense of reality. This manipulation ensures that their partner remains focused on appeasing them, the narcissist. Of course, it's at the expense of their spouse's own needs and well-being. In Undercurrent, Annie's relationship with Santino exemplifies this destructive pattern. A pivotal moment occurs when Annie decides to wear a dress of her choice to a family wedding, defying Santino's directive to wear the dress he wants her to wear. This act of autonomy threatens Santino to the core. It leads him to simmer with resentment throughout the entire event. I'm going to read a short excerpt from Undercurrent to make this illustration a little bit more clear. "You're not wearing that," Santino says. He pressures Annie to respond. "Are you?" "Why?" "I don't need a reason," Santino says as he reaches into Annie's closet for another dress. "Wear this one." Annie takes a dress from Santino and almost gives in. "No, I'm wearing my new dress." "If you're determined to look stupid, then just get into the car," Santino says. Annie doesn't take the bait and just gets into the car without saying another word. Annie finally interrupts the silence. I think you'd feel differently about the dress if you knew why. Shut up, he says. I'm not in the mood to hear your bullcrap. The ceremony and the reception don't help Santino's mood. Annie tugs on Santino's arm when the DJ cranks up the music. Dance with me, Santino. Annie's standing in front of her husband with a festive grin. Nope, Santino's skilled at projecting his wrongdoings onto Annie and making her believe she's to blame. I was wrong to wear this stupid dress. You were right, Annie tells her husband. Will you forgive me and just enjoy the rest of the party? Santino places his right middle finger in the palm of his left hand and sniggers. Annie flinches at the sight of the pornographic gesture. It doesn't get any better from there. But this excerpt offers a concrete example of how narcissists shift blame when Annie gives in and apologizes for wearing the new dress. She's gaslighting into believing she is at fault, an all too common experience for victims of emotional abuse. Even though Annie starts out asserting herself, Santino's reaction just wears her down. I have to ask this rhetorical question. Have you ever second guessed yourself just to keep the peace? And if you did, when did you realize you were apologizing for something that wasn't even your fault? It's just something to think about. It's not easy to reclaim your voice where you're in situations like this. Obviously, Annie's having an internal battle. Her initial instinct was to comply with Santino and change her dress. Then she has her moment of defiance, then her conditioned response to seek Santino's approval. The power struggle over the dress may seem small on the surface, but it's a microcosm of the entire relationship dynamic. Of course, a dress represents more than just clothing. It's about autonomy and control. Annie's choice to wear what she wanted is a stand against Santino, but his relentless psychological warfare shows how narcissists just chip away at their partner's self-worth. The couple ends up leaving the wedding early, and on the drive home, tension escalates when Santino goes into a complete rage, which is something we'll cover in depth in a future podcast. Enduring relentless blame shifting can have severe psychological repercussions. Partners of narcissists often experience heightened anxiety, depression, and diminished self-worth. The constant need to walk on eggshells creates a hyper-vigilant state where the partner is perpetually anxious about triggering the narcissist. This environment fosters a cycle of self-blame, confusion, and it just makes it so difficult for the partner to trust her own perceptions or to even make any kind of autonomous decision. Over time, the partner may become isolated, both emotionally and socially, as the narcissist influence permeates every aspect of their life. Despite the oppressive atmosphere that Santino cultivates, Annie begins to recognize the detrimental impact of his behavior. Her decision to wear the preferred dress symbolizes reclaiming her agency. While this act led to immediate conflict, it also marks the beginning of Annie's journey towards self-assertion and empowerment. If this episode of Are You Annie resonates with you, please subscribe, share, and leave a comment. Your support helps my reach, the goal being to open the conversation to other Annies, to let them know they are not the only one, that they are not alone, and that we are here to validate their experience. When one Annie tells her story, another Annie can start healing. Remember, you have the power to define your reality. Until next time, I want you to be tenacious and never give up on what's important to you. Thank you so much for listening.